We got to talk about California, guys. We got to talk about California, okay?
Okay.
So
California over there?
in the conversation about being a chimpanzee full of snakes,
Yeah.
Right.
there's an interesting idea that emerges about this.
many
We have this story. I
There are
digress.
50 snakes in the chimpanzee and 12 leave. How many snakes are left?
Fox News reports California promotes dismantling racism in mathematics, guidance in draft for statewide framework. The concept, quote, the concept of mathematics being purely objective is unequivocally false, document states.
Huh.
Which
Yes.
you pointed out is funny because that itself is an unequivocal.
Yes, it is. It's so she says the concept of mathematics being purely objective is unequivocally false, and teaching it is even less so. It goes on to say, or the document goes on to say, upholding the idea that there are always right and always wrong answers perpetuate objectivity, as well as fear of open conflict. Previous statement, unequivocally false. Following statement, we can't say there's objective truth. That's ridiculous.
Are they going to put this to a vote?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I
right.
wonder,
So they're
yeah.
going to count up the numbers and they're going to be like, this unequivocally says that we're in favor of this?
So, well, hold on. Yeah, math
This
is
stuff.
not objective.
These ideas have been around for a long time, and I think people just don't realize
The
it.
2 + 2 =
Well,
equals
yeah,
five.
No,
I
no,
was
when
like,
I-
just being bad at math is a normal thing. It happens
yes,
to a lot
that's
of
true.
people.
No, the purposeful deconstruction of math. When I was younger, I had friends who were going to these schools where they were learning this trash. I remember arguing with a friend of mine
Really?
when I said we were having an argument or discussion, and I said something like the only absolute. There's like nothing's absolute, I guess, math except math, I guess. And then my friend was like, "That's not true. Math isn't absolute." And I was like, well, okay, as far as we can tell, math is like our understanding of the universe. And like, for the most part, we believe it to be absolute in many ways. There are probably variables, but I guess. And then she's like, no, like, how do you know 2 + 2 is 4? And I was like, because if I take 2 pens and then 2 more pens, there will be 4 pens. And I got into an argument about semantics, deconstruction. This is when I was like 16. So
And
these
how
ideas have
helpful
been
is
around
that?
for a long time.
Yeah.
And they've been getting worse, especially with colleges. They're literally telling people, it's on Twitter, 2 + 2 = 5.
It's insane. Well, here's the thing. The system of mathematics, which tells us that 2 + 2 is 4, is what allows for the science to be done to build this kind of thing. And the camera I'm looking at, and the microphone I'm talking into, and which is what allows for the people watching at home to have access to this conversation. There is an empirical basis for what we are talking about here with the rules and laws of mathematics. The alternate, I mean, first of all, there is no proposed altered system or alternate system. They just want to deconstruct what we have now. It's completely ridiculous. They have nothing. They're holding an empty sack. The whole point is I can point out that you're incorrect. But again, when they say things like nothing is objectively true, including mathematics, they're making an objective statement.
They're doing it so that dumb people will be sitting down and you'll say something like, in order to build a bridge, we need, this math. And they'll go, you're dumb. That's not even true. Math isn't even real. And then the bridge collapses. Wasn't there a story about like a bunch of feminists who built a bridge and
Yes.
it collapsed
I
or
guess-
something?
Great story.
Well, no, I mean,
There
my,
I don't know if-
it was like a girls' school or like
Yeah.
all girls
I don't know.
architecture
Is that
engineering
true,
team
though,
or something.
or was that a
I
meme?
think it did happen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is like when it's time to get paid and someone is like, yo, I work 2 hours this day. I work 2 hours that day. That's 4 hours, bro. And
Yeah.
if your employer was like, no, it's just 3.
It
Let's
depends,
talk.
It depends on how. So this is the thing. Logic is real.
Yes.
I agree. But math is calculated in base 10 in our culture for the most part. So 2 + 2 does equal 4. But if you're on a base 3, 2 + 2
What
equals
culture
1.
is on a base 3?
I don't know. Well, computers, for
Do they
instance,
have
use binary.
What
base
if
10
they're on base
mathematics.
orange?
Oh.
Where their
my
math is
goodness.
based on different kinds of fruit.
That's not a
What
base.
if they're on base gender and math is not numbers but genders?
Do they really
So,
think in
well, this is
second
the
grade
point.
they're like, by the way, base 3? We're now in base 3, guys.
Ian,
2
your,
+ 2
your,
is
your,
1.
your argument is predicated upon someone else having different parameters that could exist in any place based on
Math
linguistics.
is a language.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a way
No.
to describe concepts.
No.
Yes. And the different bases you use is a different language.
Right, and Ian, you're wrong. What? Math is not a language. We have an English version of math. What if I said un, deux, trois? Those are different words, a different
Yeah,
language.
but you're still in base 10.
But I'm describing mathematical concepts using different words. I can say flork, glop, blebo, and they could represent 1, 2, 3. They're just words to represent mathematical concepts.
But base 10 and base 2 are different languages to describe the same concept. So computers understand 1 + 1 = 1, 0.
The point
because
is-
they work in binary. There are no 2s in computer language.
well, we
Well,
all
no, but 1 0 represents 2
1,
in
0
computer language, so
represents
it's operating.
the concept of that 2 represents in a
So
higher base.
actually, this is a really great representation of constructivism versus objective reality.
Exactly.
We're arguing that most people operating in good faith understand what you mean when you say 2 + 2 is 4. Your argument, Ian, is constructivist, where you're like, well, I can change the definition without telling you to subvert the argument.
I can use a different language to give you a different
That no one
answer.
chooses.
Change the assumptions.
And the point I was making earlier, which is basically the point Jack made when he's bringing up your paycheck, is it's really easy to over-abstract these things and go, well, usually when I see math, it's just on a paper and I'm told that these rules exist, but I can't actually be certain. But when you look at what following these rules produces in the real world, it becomes very clear that math is an objective reality.
Right.
Well, when people say, like, how are we going to communicate with alien species? There's like two different ways: math and music.
No bullets.
Binary.
They come to my planet, they're catching 9
sing
mil.
when they
But
fly
it's
by.
important to put this in greater context, right? The same people that are saying that 2 + 2 is 5 are the same people that are saying that objective reality is white supremacy, that data is white supremacy, that being on time is white supremacy, that being self-reliant is white supremacy, that everything in America is white supremacy. And the United Nations, just today, our rep to the United Nations said that our Constitution is steeped in white supremacy.
Bro,
By
when they
the
say
way-
math is white supremacy, that's like they're
So
going for,
insulting
they're going
to
to the
minorities.
root. It's like one thing to be like your culture is white supremacy and you have an argument about it. It's another thing to be like math itself, objective reality
Why
is
not?
racist.
Yes.
I think the concept of zero was invented or discovered in like, I don't know, 200 BC or something
was an
by some
amazing
Arab
discovery.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always was taught
It was an
the
incredible
the
discovery.
Mayans.
The
I
Mayans
thought.
discovered it, but they were not the first. We found that they had also discovered it, which was very...
The discovery of
on their
zero.
own with no influence. Interesting.
The discovery of
so
zero
hold on,
is
hold
profound.
On, hold on.
Exactly,
If
yes.
they're discovering 0 in 2 different locations, totally isolated by
Exactly.
time and space, without any communication, whoa.
Which isn't that crazy? Or
Oh, is that
also,
crazy? Maybe it's
how
universal.
All these cultures, independent of one another, have an understanding of there being 2 sexes. Is what?
That's crazy too.
You know, what am I saying?
So I think the one point I want to make is that 2 + 2 = 1, 1 in base 3, but it doesn't equal 11. The 1, 1, you might read that as 11, but it's not 11.
Ian.
It's a different language.
In base orange, 2 + 2 equals
no,
banana.
base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And
10,
I created my
11,
own
12.
and I created my own system
he's-
called
But
you
these
know,
pointed
But
out
Ian, what you're
literal
missing
base-
is the analog. You can translate that mathematically. So right with binary, like 1, 0, 1 is 5, but that translates to something. 1 is 1, but then 1,
Right.
0 is 2, 1, 1 is 3.
And it's not
See,
101.
disingenuous.
It's
Ian,
1, 0, 1.
This is
But that's just the way you're
disingenuous.
describing
how many
it.
shotgun shells are sitting in front of me right
1,
now?
0 in binary.
And what does that represent?
Well, 2 in base 2 or more.
Oh, so it's
But
the
hold
exact
on.
same
Base
thing no matter
three
what you
or
call it.
higher.
I'm going to call it
Exactly.
florbo. Flump.
The where,
This is
where
flump shotgun
you're,
shells.
I use the word 2 because that's the language I'm comfortable with.
Right.
I'm not a computer. A computer wouldn't be able to tell you that that's 2.
1, 0,
Yes, it
and
would.
2 are the same.
Yeah, it
Well,
would.
it might, but
1,
one
0.
binary machine wouldn't be able to tell you that there's 2
What
there.
you
Here-
need to
it
understand, Ian, is that you're talking about the exact same thing and using different words to describe
Yeah, different
it.
languages.
no, the
Well,
way
'cause, Ian,
you're
when you get to the base of
failing.
it-
Hold on,
Yeah.
it's my turn.
All right, I'm sorry, Jack. We have to pass around
All together.
we have to pass around an old style for the Illinois boys, and whoever has it gets to talk.
Yes.
Schlitz.
Perfect.
What you're doing is translating half of it without translating the answer. And that's disingenuous. If you're going to start talking in a different base, then do it all in that base and then completely translate it back to base
Definitely.
10. Then we'll see they're precisely the same. What you did in your example, sir, is that you translated the first 2 parts of the equation but didn't translate the answer, and you left it looking
Well, when
ambiguous.
hold on,
when
here's
people
about-
say 2 +
Thank
2 = 4, they're doing the same thing.
Hold
They're
on.
They're
only-
not.
They're only
They're
giving you a
not.
base 5
Let's
or higher.
let's simplify this. Ian, what is this thing right here in front of me?
Ian, are you saying
bullet.
math is
You're
racist?
wrong. Hold on. What is this thing in front of
It's
me?
a 45 APC. I don't know.
You're wrong.
It's a distance.
You're
I
wrong.
can't see it from the distance.
You're wrong. It's a cartridge.
It's copper.
You're wrong. It's a cartridge.
It's all of the above.
Well, you're wrong because Ian seems to think that this object is a bullet. It's actually a cartridge. It's the same thing. It's a different word to describe the same thing. So if 2 plus
synonym.
2 does equal 4, saying 2 + 2 = 5 makes no
No,
sense.
that is wrong.
And
2
they're
+ 2 does not equal 5 in any base.
Right, so
that I know
the-
of.
Exactly, that's the point.
no. The argument they have is that if you have 2.4, you round down
But
to 2.
that's not 2. Oh, well, that's
The argument
really dumb.
they make is
Yes.
2.4 plus 2.4 is 4 plus 8. 2.4 round, if you round, is 2, so you'd get 4. But if you add them together, then you'd round up and get 5.
That's like Common Core math.
What they're doing is they're changing the parameters that no one asked for to create their own answers. The point of which is to deconstruct your worldview and trick you into being their servant.
Exactly.
Okay, then that I think maybe there's insidiousness to what these people are talking about. But
Yes.
I also do believe Getting lost in base 10 and thinking that the world exists in base 10 is dangerous.
I'm so hardcore fine with base. Dude, base 10 is what I'm all about.
Because we got 10
They
fingers.
call me base 10 Coughlin, man. That's my nickname.
Look, just because
Back
you
in
look at
Illinois.
the sky and like say it in different languages doesn't mean you're not all looking at the sky. It doesn't mean
Correct.
that the sky is different. You're just speaking different language, and that's all the different bases are. Don't let anyone get confused. Just a different language to describe the very same reality.
2 + 2 = 5 in a language where 5 means 4 and 4 means 5. How about that?
Boom, donezo.
1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8.
I can't get down with 2 + 2 = 5. It
Yeah.
sounds so silly. Saying 2.4 is not 2.
So
Exactly.
I think fundamentally we agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
And math is racist.
And
It's
math
just
is
that
racist.
math,
and we need
math
to
is-
stop
Yes.
teaching it in our
Hold
schools.
on.
Agreed.
Math exists.
And it's
There is
racist.
there is objective math, but it is racist.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, look, there's the accelerationist in me that says, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
Jack, don't.
See
Go
what
ahead. Let
happens.
them teach them that. Let's see what happens.
No, you got to.
And there will be. So this is the way feminism is going to end. Is when a younger generation looks up at the older generation and says, I want nothing to do with that life. I don't want to be crazy Aunt Margaret. I don't want to be 55 with cats and no kids, wishing I had a husband and a family and lamenting the fact that I decided to
Getting there.
really pursue that HR job where I got up to second senior assistant vice president. The same thing could happen in these circumstances. Unfortunately, it's sad that these kids are pawns.
Exactly.
But
That's what I feel
these
bad
kids
for
will
here.
grow up not knowing math, not being employed, and then the kids behind them will be like, yo, teach me the math.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.